Welcome back to the series of me testing and comparing LMU to Automobilista 2. Today we are on the last part of the series where we're going to be comparing GTE cars. So first off we're going to drive the Corvette GTE car in Automobilista 2 around Sebring, the full layout, and see how it compares to Le Mans Ultimate. So as usual we start with an out lap to test the cold behavior, and then we go and push. So from the start you can see that the tires are supposedly green, but from previous tests we know that that may not be fully correct. This car doesn't have any ABS, which is good to know, but the brakes are cold, which isn't too good for pushing, that is. And if you're wondering, yes, I don't have a webcam on, since for some reason it didn't want to work today. Okay, yeah, so the brakes in this car are really bad. I've been trying to push a bit like a GT3 car, but the brakes really when cold don't work so well. Which should be quite obvious, but I feel like the ones in the GT3 car work a bit better, but that could be because of the ABS. So the car feels quite nice. It does slide a little bit, not too much, but at least you hear the ABS and can feel it to some extent. And the engine is quite nice to listen to, which is fun, because one of the main things which I like with these sims are the engine noises, and so having a car with this engine is quite nice. Now let's see through the last corner how good it handled. So the brakes have finally gotten to an okay temperature, so we can start pushing and see how it compares. So yeah, it feels very edgy, this car, very sharp on turning, which I like. Then it doesn't feel too unstable, but the braking still is a bit of an issue. Now let's try and brake. Okay, so that one lap made a huge difference in the braking performance of this car. So it seems like the braking is okay, fine, until you come into like second gear, and then it starts to lock up. So like a brake heavy, then yeah, so it seems like the issue is when you get... There are a few issues, but they're mainly at slower speeds, not at high speeds. So like for a day was completely fine. Yeah, this car feels really nice actually. It's not too hard to drive, not too complicated. Feels very nice. So let's finish this lap and then let's head off to LMU and have some fun. Hopefully fun. But yeah, the braking leads to quite a bit of understeer, it seems. So now let's head off to LMU. Okay, so now we are in Le Mans Ultimate. And I don't care for the pit speed limit. So let's try. But here the tires are... Both tires and brakes are cold. which should mean that they should be harder to drive compared to Automobilista 2. And that's generally been it with the tires, but not with the brakes. The brakes have been harder to drive with in Automobilista 2. If you just drive here. Okay, let's just push. Let's see how this handles. So from the start, yeah, it definitely feels on edge with both the tires and the brakes. The brakes feel a bit the same to Automobilista 2, but the tires feel a lot worse. But yeah, oh my god, yeah, it's the same general thing with Le Mans Ultimate in here too, that it's super light, they're super stable when going on throttle. And here you could also see the braking issues happen at the higher speed. But then look, I just go on the throttle and nothing literally happens except for it going forward, which to me feels a bit weird that if you have a rotational torque and then it just eliminates that fully. Like for there, it feels like it feels very odd. Like how I'm turning through here, I'm turning, and then just get on the throttle, and then it just goes. I mean, to me it just feels weird, but I've not driven these cars in real life, so I don't know if that's actually realistic or not. But to me, from what my knowledge is, it does feel weird. But yeah, you can see here the understeer I get with these cold tires is quite a bit. Okay, so the brakes are and tires are okay after one lap. There are still issues.
Lap 2, 10.02.
Okay, so yeah, here they feel there are still issues, but not that much. Okay, so with the brake you can really move the vehicle. And there I had the little snap. Then if we just do a U-turn like that. Then let me just go out of here and then just stamp on the throttle. You can see there, you hear no TC. I don't know if that's my sound settings or what, but I hear no TC activation. I only see a small little light. And then it just pulls, which to me feels quite weird. So I feel like we have had enough comparisons. Wait, let me just end the lap and I'll do the rundown from outside the pits on everything. Like, let's just go through here. You see I lock up the brakes very easily, and then I just get on the throttle very easily. So it feels like you have a lot of grip when going on throttle, but then when braking you have no grip. And it's felt like that in all the cars. Just keep on going through here, you should be able to do something. So that was that's about it. It's starting to feel good now. If we just go through here with this disqualification. So yeah, it still feels quite alright. But there is just that feeling of unlimited grip, which does feel a bit odd. Turn here. Just get on the throttle, it feels too easy. But now let me just jump into the menu so we can discuss everything. So now we are here, I can start discussing the my main pointers. So we can start here. We're just talking about the order. So if we just skip that and go to McLaren, which was the first car I drove. And the feeling of this one was, which will be the basic main thing between most cars, is that with the here and all of the other ones, mainly the ones all of them have TC, but all of them, it feels like the TC doesn't do anything, but still the cars have a lot of grip, which I have no idea how realistic that is, but they do feel a bit odd. Whilst in the LMP2s, they do feel a bit closer together, but still the Automobilista 2 one feels more on edge, where you can feel the edge and there's a slight clear difference both on throttle and braking, whilst in Le Mans Ultimate it doesn't feel like that. This is a cool livery. But then if we also get to the hypercars, you can see, we can discuss here also that, like the Cadillac which I drove, it feels good, but there's still the similar issues. And also now when I drove the GT, you have that issue. So what are the main conclusions we can draw from this compared to Automobilista 2? Well, in general, if you like cars which are a bit more planted, and are very hard to drive at the start, but then get easier when you drive them, as in like the brakes still feel a bit hard when braking during normal conditions. But if you want a sim where there is a clear difference between cold and warm tires, and the cars in general feel like they move less, then I would choose Le Mans Ultimate, because they do feel like that. And also if you like if you like Le Mans in general, the World Endurance Championship, but they also feel a bit like Race Room. So I say RF2, LMU, and Race Room, those three feel quite similar. Then you have Automobilista 2, which is on its own part, and then iRacing, which is in its own area, and then Rennsport I don't remember. But yeah, so Automobilista 2 is more if you like in general content and you like cars which actually feel like they move under you when you're on the edge, instead of Le Mans Ultimate where they do feel like they don't move at all. So that's basically the conclusions I will draw. But if there's anything you want to say, or if you want to say how wrong I am or how correct I am, comment them down below. And once you're down there, please hit the like button and also subscribe. My next video will be on a car which is in Automobilista 2, which isn't really in any other sim. And that is the Formula High-Tech Gen 2 cars, where I'm going to discuss what they have, how you can utilize it, how you drive, and in general, yeah, those. I think I made a video on it before as my favorite vehicle, but this will be a bit different. So I hope to see you there. But until then, I've been Racing Legend, you've been my amazing viewers. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.